guess this works, because if Zim goes level 2, I was thinking of Circle of Wildfire.
Ooh.
Right, I've been throwing fireballs. Just makes sense, I guess.
No. Dang it.
Unless somebody out there can find me a circle of kelp farming, in which case.
I didn't know that Zim was a kelp farmer. I kind of love that.
That's great.
It's a simple kelp farmer.
Simple kelp farmer just happened to have an ounce of magic.
You're becoming plankton. Damn you, crabs! Where to get that secret Krabby Patty formula?
Circle of the kelp. Just circle of kelp.
I love it. Alright, let's see here. Little adjustments. Okay. Alright, well, stepping back into it at the top of the order. Getting rid of that one. There we go.
We survive this round.
Now lay a fireball somewhere.
Yeah. I lay it down at Crenshaw side of his feet if they get any closer.
Careful with that fire.
Absolutely. The one with the one between Saida and Crenshaw steps away from Saida, provoking an attack of opportunity from her.
Oh, that means I can just attack him?
Absolutely.
Let's do it!
Moves and slashes out once with that heavy stone blade and stabs forward with the shorter sword, both at Crenshaw. But yeah, you can go ahead and roll that attack first for Saida. Nice. That is a hit. Let's see damage. Very nice.
Not so fast.
Absolutely. It gives a rasping howl of pain as it swings wide around Crenshaw and slashes out first with that heavy blade and again with that shorter blade. The first blade comes at Crenshaw fast downward towards your shoulder for a 16 to hit.
That one is blocked by the shield.
As you bring the shield up to defend it, the shorter blade comes under towards your ribs for a 25 to hit.
That is a hit.
Once more, this one has a sort of a bright, almost blood red sort of pulse that comes out the blade down its arm for a total of 9 points of damage at Crenshaw.
Right, Crenshaw is down.
All right. Next in the order, checking this one. Wow, my map is just jumping everywhere. As Crenshaw falls, the one to the south of you turns back around, steps past one of the defenders, trying to angle it and ready its spear for an attack, and it steps up to your commander, Brahm. It drives its fingers, it sort of flattens its hands out and drives its claws forward like stabbing blades instead of slashing. Brahm manages to get his shield up for the first one, but it's knocked aside and down by the forward motion of the blow. The second one comes in at Brom's chest. Bright orange fire blazes from the lupine figure's clawed fingertips. There's a squeal of metal as the creature's fingers punch through Brom's breastplate. Brom gives a sort of breathless gasp. Having been wounded from the previous encounter with the shambling mound, Brom drops to the ground.
No.
Next in the order is Kenneth. How does Kenneth proceed?
Right. I will move my mark to the most injured. Well, let's see.
The one that just attacked Brom seems to be the most injured, as far as you can tell. You can look at the colored borders around the enemies. The closer toward red, the more damaged it is.
Yeah. Okay, I will move the mark to this guy. Looks the most damaged. And we will do the bow and arrow thing.
All right. Sort of sling some of that rainwater off your fingers, pull out an arrow, draw.
Oh, that didn't have advantage for any reason, so that's just a 9.
That did not. That is a miss. You have your GM inspiration. You can use that session inspiration if you like.
Sure, I will. Yeah, why not? Roll again, or use the one that's rolled, or what do you want me to do?
Roll again. Yeah, if you had called it beforehand, we would have just used that roll.
Nope,
You can
it's
also,
all good.
You can use it beforehand as an advantage, or after the fact to re-roll.
16 then.
16 hits. That is the figure's AC.
11 total damage. Then I will shuffle over to here. And that's my turn.
You can tell that the creature's, very focused, but also the battle frenzy that seems to, that you were trained, sort of takes these creatures over. They seem to get stronger and more fierce as the battle progresses, but also less focused. Your shot takes him center mass in the chest, just to the left of its heart, punching through the creature's sternum.
Okay, interesting. Then I'm actually going to put my bow away as my free interact for the turn.
Awesome. Are you still? Do you have any more movement? You can continue to use that. If you deplete.
I've moved to where I want to be.
All right, nice. Next in the order would have been that Lear Brawler that Kenneth just took down. Next in the order, Crenshaw. Go ahead and set it to Whisper, and whisper me that death save.
Here comes the death save. All right.
All right. Go ahead and note that on your sheet and keep track of that.
Will do.
The Lear Stalker is down. All right, let's see here. So, you have several archers to the south. All 4 of them fire at the southernmost Lear. 2 bolts slam into its back from your allies. The dead take their sort of lumbering stabs, one of them missing as the Lear lurches to the side, but it lurches right into the spear of the next one, who stabs forward a second after. It seems very, very hurt, but does not fall. 2 more wielding a spear, one very, very hurt. Both rush up past Crenshaw to attack the northernmost Lear. one manages to score a glancing hit along the sort of lat muscles of the swordsman. But it is still standing and in pretty decent shape, at least compared to the rest of the Lear and your companions. And Thrumnir, without prompting this time, aims. That was not supposed to be that much. What the heck happened? Okay, sorry about that. Thrumnir fires once. His bolt flashes through the jungle and vanishes, missing. Alright, next in the order is Zim. How does Zim proceed?
Alright. Zim's gonna move forward just a little bit. Hopefully I can move forward through bigger people. Excuse me. And I'm gonna try and throw another poison spray at this guy here.
Alright.
Oh, great. 1 point of damage. DC 12.
It fails its saving throw.
It takes a point of poison damage.
Lear gives a ragged sigh. Its eyes sort of shifting back and forth, as if something has addled its senses of a fever or perhaps a poison has taken over. Its eyes then roll back into its head and it slumps to the sodden ground, having had only 1 hit point remaining.
Yay! Alright, with that, the victorious, again, Zim will scuttle backwards a little bit, not too far. And as it is me.
Alright. Next in the order is Saida. Your feet hit the ground heavily as the Lear holding you up drops to the ground.
Can I use lay on hands on someone who's fallen?
Absolutely you can. Now, I want to pause there and just a bit of lore. Healing magic is a lost art in this world. It is unknown. You have not met or seen anyone who's been able to do it. That you can is a rare thing, a miraculous thing. Now, it could be something that you're just now discovering that you can do. It could be something you've known for a long time, but have kept hidden.
I think that given her backstory, she's unaware. She was very isolated in her niche of people, and that was something they shared with each other. I think it was a small niche of people, but they were so much involved with each other and just defending against the outside world that it's not a big thing to her necessarily, and perhaps unaware of the fact that it's a big deal to other people.
Fantastic. Play it any way you want then. There's several fallen around you, of course. One of your, someone you perhaps trust the most and you feel like is a more solid companion, Crenshaw. But there's also the Magi, Brahm.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to go for Crenshaw. He's closest to me, and we kind of had a fighting simpatico going on there, kind of fighting back-to-back slash at things. So I want to run over to him and do lay on hands, which should do 5 points.
You spend it all. You can choose to spend 1 if you like, and parse that out among 5 different people, and perhaps save the lives of multiples.
Oh, I didn't know that I could split it like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think that's a great idea. I know it isn't much, but it is better than them dying. So
1's as good as 5 here, I'd say for sure.
Let's get Crenshaw, our commander.
You only do 1 per round. So
1 per round?
Yeah,
okay, well, let's do Crenshaw first.
Awesome. So what does it look like as you reach down to heal your companion? Not a big deal to you, perhaps.
It's a very quick, somatic sort of gesture, flow of the hands, like they're pooling energy, and then going down to the knees and sort of ground herself, and then like just laying on the hands, and maybe some white energy coming down through the arms and into the person.
Awesome. What might it... different healing magics could have different sources. What might it feel like? Does it feel soothing? Does it feel like the wounds burn and itch fiercely, like they're healing real fast? Is it painful?
I would say that it's sort of like a heat that overcomes the body, and it can be painful, but it's sort of like a hot shower can be painful on sore muscles. And then depending on the severity of the wound, adjust accordingly.
Gotcha. Okay. Crenshaw, the blackness begins to dissipate, replaced briefly by a red haze. Then suddenly a warmth fills your body, flowing over your muscles through your wounds. Light comes again to your eyes. They sort of snap open, looking up at Saida. You hear you hear two gasps from the archers toward the rear. Zim, you hear a flaming hells and lost gods from Thrumnir as he's sort of looking on. The tip of his crossbow is drooped down a bit, as if he's temporarily lost focus on what he's doing. Big Bri, how does Crenshaw respond to this? How does he? Actually, I'd like to speak with you last about it. DL, you see this happen. What does Kenneth think about this? Does he even notice?
Well, Kenneth's got some secrets of his own, so he's just relieved. Just relieved. Relieved that he's not the only one.
And probably doesn't have the biggest secret either. Nice. How about Zim?
How many bodies are piled up, kind of in front of Crenshaw and all of them at this time? Zim doesn't see a thing. I rolled a perception check. I got a 9. What are you all staring at? Huh? What's happening out there? I can't see over that dead Lear.
Methinks you'll find out soon enough, Zim. You see the end of his crossbow sort of come back up to aim. So that's your action. A little bit of movement for Saida. You still have a little bit more movement left. Do you finish it out, or how do you proceed with the rest of your turn?
I mean, I can't attack or anything, so I think I'm gonna just stay right put. She's fierce, and she's not leaving Crenshaw's side. They are just about as on the brink of death as each other. So
nice. Top of the order. The remaining Lear brawler gives a keening howl. It's harrowing. Can't place. It's not a shout of challenge. It's not an angry roar. There's something plaintive in it. There's something fearful, but not afraid of you all exactly. You can make insight checks just to get an impression based on the raw emotion. So you can't speak their language or anything like that, but you can all make that insight check. Excellent. Crenshaw, Zim, as well as Kenneth.
Actually, can I choose to fail that insight check?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right.
Okay,
I'm going to
cool.
fail that insight check.
All right, absolutely. Zim and Crenshaw, you've been at sort of great gatherings, festivals, where there's a moment that everyone is awaiting, but then when it happens, it sort of signifies the end of the gathering or the end of the party. It's something like that. Something that has been, the sense is that they're seeing something about the world that has challenged their mind. They're afraid but the fear is existential. It's not a fear of blood and bone, but a fear of spirit and there's a sense of something long held being released. The brawler turns and dashes away, provoking an attack of opportunity. Actually, no, it locks eyes briefly with Saida. Its hands drop down. It quickly sheathes its longer sword. It keeps its short sword in its hand. It takes a single step away from you. Another, and then it turns all in one motion and dashes to the northwest, vanishing from sight.
Coward!
Hopefully, that is all. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Pop that back up, and we'll now use this for social and exploration initiative. So, as the last of your enemies, at least, and hopefully, if Roll20 is showing me everything it should be, this is the last of your enemies that is dashing away. You can hear its passage, a savage thing as it was going as it was coming, sort of tearing its way from you. Kenneth, as you quickly assess, you see nothing else immediately of threat. How do you proceed? This will expand our turns out a little bit, more toward exploration turns at the moment. So, next in the order, Kenneth, how do you proceed? DL, you with us?
Yep.
Okay. Your video froze up for a sec.
Just trying to think if it's better to I'll look around at the bodies that are on the ground and see if anybody else looks like they're still breathing, unconscious, or if they've completely passed on.
Okay. You move up to one of the nearest ones and go ahead and make a medicine check. See what you can assess.
2.
All right. You quickly pass the first one nearest to you, as the wounds alone tell you it would be a waste of time. The one just past them, you see their chest barely rising and falling, and you can see, you could see their multiple wounds are still bleeding. So they're still alive. But for how much longer, you're not certain. With that 22, you could also begin to tend their wounds if you like. It's up to you.
We were all issued with healing potions, is that correct?
No, you were issued hit dice potions. Potions that will restore your hit dice.
So that's standard issue for everybody, though, right? So, like, this guy should have one on his pouch somewhere.
Absolutely.
All right, I'm going to get his own potion and jam it in his face and see if I can heal him.
Okay.
And I'll...
Go ahead.
No, that's it.
Okay. So the hit die potions they're only going to restore hit dice. And the person has to be conscious, and which is really only useful during a rest, which the person has to be conscious to use those hit die. So you know by training that this potion's not going to help.
Okay, then second question. We leveled up to 1, have the Goodberry spell. I don't know that, since we never got a rest and we leveled, I don't think I can actually cast the spell, right?
Well, we mentioned that we were going to change a short rest to 15 minutes and a long rest to 2 hours. We talked about that last session. Everybody agreed that seemed like a good choice.
Okay.
Yep.
So the commander is down. The magi is down.
Well, I would love to Goodberry and be able to bring these people back up, but I don't know if I have the spell. That's up to you, DM.
So you have the spell slots, but you don't have anything prepared. So you would definitely need a short rest to do that.
Okay.
And in this one instance, leveling up instances, you can use a short rest to gain level abilities. So you definitely need a rest to do that.
All right. So I'll at least point out who the people are that are alive. And I will look at Saida, and I'll say, "Can you do that again for these two? It looks like they could also be saved."
Of course.
I do it myself. I'll at least prompt somebody to help, I guess.
At this point, Thrumnir leans over to Zim and says, "Watch," as he kind of steps up. Now you'll see it.
Okay, I'm watching.
Was already on my way. And she just repeats the same gesture and movement very casually as she did before. She's done it 1,000 times.
Sure. Their eyes, one sort of flutters open. They seem sort of drowsy. The other wakes up, eyes sharp, tense. All of a sudden, you recognize a very stocky, muscular woman named Hadreen, and the very tall and narrow Ares, as two that you've saved from the brink. Hadreen just says, "So we're not dead yet, then?" And reaches up, basically sort of leans up, grabs your belt to sort of help pull herself up to her feet.
Not yet.
Doesn't look like heaven to me, says Ares.
Right, you're not dead. How did she do that?
I don't know. You're the Magi's apprentice. He looks down at the fallen Magi. Magi, then. You tell me. Dio, can it? You've just sort of... All you've done is spoken a word. You could still take another action. Make any sort of check. Try and rally any troops. Check, anything like that. As I know, you did take that medicine check to check out a few of them. But you can still say some more words, speak, and move if you like to. Perhaps perform another small action.
I'll just see if there's anything that these guys dropped as they were, shuffling off their mortal coils that maybe would be worth me picking up.
Okay. All of them have long stone knives that are essentially like scimitars or short swords. They all also have in them aside, you find strange things that you don't recognize at first. You open them up, you find this is obviously a tinder kit. Pardon me. You find needles and threads, simple things like that. They seem to have a lack of any ranged weapons. You don't find much of any form of writing like that. You also don't find any obvious currency of any sort. They do have valuable things on them. The first one you come to has what seems to be a small ivory statue. It's carved of a monkey. Another one has a ring carved of stone. It's age smoothed, as if it's maybe generations old. It depicts a mythological figure that you've seen in fairy tale books. The face of a dragon, its sort of head turned to the side, fire curling out of its mouth. You see some other small trinkets, what you assume are sort of spiritual things. 3 bits of herb stalks wrapped in some sort of orange thread. Inside that, leaves of some other herb sort of wrapped together. They're tied very carefully in a sort of crisscross pattern of orange and red rough spun threads of some sort. You see signs of pretty meticulous craftsmanship. All the stitching on their garb is very even, pretty masterfully done. Now that you're up close and examining their gear, you certainly aren't the savages that you were initially took them for, but based mostly on their training and such. Not only that, they definitely comported themselves with damn decent sort of combat honor. Not the... Oh, go ahead.
Just a quick evaluation: are the swords just like heavy garbage, or would they look like something that might be worth something to somebody,
are.
like some kind of rare stone?
They're very well balanced. You're not sure what sort of stone. They're very well balanced. They have a decent edge. You can see that they do chip them occasionally to keep them sharp. Yeah, but they are in really good repair. You're not sure how much value other than just for the effort to study them. As you know from the first sorties, the effort got very little in the way of material to study. The people that made it through that escaped with their lives essentially. So anything that you can bring back is going to be valuable, and it's going to be a bonus for your company. In basically credits to the Alliance store. The weapons definitely would be.
So I've got something wrapped in leaves. I've got an ivory statue, and then some kind of medallion with a dragon on it.
Mm-hmm. A ring. There's a ring with a dragon on it.
Oh, a ring. And then I'm going to stack up the swords as if maybe somebody with more strength could carry them.
Excellent. Some of the more heavy armored soldiers that tend to be on the front lines, they come and help you sort of stack them up, take rope and begin bundling them together, distribute them among them so they kind of have some racked onto their back, seeing that you want to take this stuff with. All right. Moving over to Crenshaw. Now, everything was black for a moment, faded slowly to red in a haze of pain, and then that was washed away by a feeling of hot water moving through, not moving over your body, but moving sort of through your mind, perhaps? Your eyes flutter open and you're looking up at Saida. How do you respond?
So a lot of what happens between, just to take a step back, was very internal. Crenshaw assumed, coming back to it, he still felt a lot of pain. He's still in a lot of pain.
Sure.
But the mortal wound to his gut has been healed over.
You can feel the difference.
It doesn't quite register with him. He's thinking, what did oh, she must have used something from the magi. He doesn't understand magic, so
right. Yeah.
But then as Kenneth moves and points out people who could be saved, and Crenshaw's just kind of getting up on one elbow and then struggling to a knee, and he's watching, and he sees Saida, help these. And correct me if I'm wrong. She laid on hands for like Brahm and the Magi and like one other soldier, was it?
The nearest to you all, I think, are the ones that she saved. Which, looking over here, I'm gonna move Crenshaw real quick and see. I don't think he was one to him. So there's one between Crenshaw and Saida, and I guess the nearest one would be Brahm. So yeah, it's up to you, Saida, who you resurrect, the Magi or the Commander.
Commander.
Okay. So, that answer your question?
And yeah.
Okay.
So as Crenshaw is like thinking, he's not really thinking about like, oh, what'd she do to me? She just must have done something, poured a potion, done some kind of medical treatment. But as he's seeing this white magic that starts flowing from her and healing others, he starts to get a little bit freaked out. And he's just kind of like, once she's healed these people, he kind of like stumbles to his feet and he looks at Saida and he just goes, what in the high seas are you? Did you do that to me?
What, sir? Do what?
You just brought them back from... Was I dead? Did you bring them back from the dead?
Sort of. Nearly dead. What's the problem?
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
What's the problem?
Brahm's
Just
voice cuts in.
seems
Go ahead.
unnatural. No, I think Brahm interrupting is perfect.
Okay.
That's perfect.
What happened is we've seen something none of us have ever seen before.
Which is the Lear?
He's eyeing you hard, his eyebrow kind of cocks up, but he's looking over everyone else, sort of gauging everyone else's reaction.
Well, yes, the Lear, but as well as the raising of the dead, the healing of wounds like that.
He sort of looks
Would
over.
I know that's ancient magic?
Yeah, I mean it's mythological at this point, just like it is in our world. Essentially, you know, most people would react very strongly in this world if they saw somebody healing wounds with a touch.
Like it's only in stories and tales.
Is it now? Well, obviously it's not.
Well, we've seen many things and see many more on the Firma that are like from children's tales. I'd say we're seeing one from our allies, and that's good enough for me. It should be good enough for the rest of you. We'll let the command and the magi sort that out. I expect they'll want to speak to you soon when we return after last bridge. The rest of the
If it must be done, I'm glad we're alive.
Aye. Strange thing. Seems you don't know. Seems you don't know what a wonder that is.
I'm
Just
picking
dropped
up
the
on this.
Third one. He sort of, kind of sticks his bottom lip out for a moment, looks at you a moment longer, and then just shakes his head as if he just isn't paid enough to think about that. The other soldiers among have sort of gone quiet. There's a few mutters among them as some of them are talking. Arrest and Bost have absolutely ceased their usual banter and they're watching the commander, their eyes sort of going from the commander to Saida. The shorter, heavier set Bost looks over at Crenshaw, nods to Arrest and steps over, making to help Crenshaw up, even though he's already made it to his feet. And he just sort of says, "So, how'd that feel? What was that like? Felt weird. Looks like it felt weird."
I don't rightly know. Get off me! Get back in formation.
He sort of leans back and then he reaches forward and just pokes you with a pinky and then leans back. He shrugs. He goes back over to Arrest, looks up at it. Seems real enough. Thrumnir chuckles. But it's a dry, sort of hard, uncomfortable chuckle.
Crenshaw's definitely not taking his eyes off Saida. He has no idea what to make of what happened to him.
Brahm looks over. He calls the scouts in, Kinnit and Thrumnir. He calls the two magi in. Basically, kind of calls everybody in close. Most of the soldiers who are in good condition are checking out the others and tending their wounds. The magi does not seem able to recover. Brahm still seems very, very hurt and still somewhat suffering from the poisons of the earlier manticore attack. He's not in the best shape. He's moving pretty slow. But you don't expect him to be able to do much if you all are hit again anytime soon.
How many people did I revive? Just 2?
3, I believe, right?
3?
Mm-hmm.
Who was the third one? The Magi?
Yeah, I suppose
Okay.
so. Okay. Then as you revive her, she is absolutely addled. She seems swooning. She's conscious and alive, but she's not able to concentrate or focus on more than 2 words. It could just
I think we gotta go back.
Could be combat stress. It could be something else.
Zim's gonna take the control amulet.
That seems wise choice. Go back. We've got orders, Brom says. Besides, last bridge isn't for another 6 hours. Surely there's something useful we can do with our time.
Heal?
That's it. Well, perhaps moving to the bridge isn't an altogether terrible idea. He's back out of the jungle.
How many of ours were non-recoverable?
Let's see here. One of your dead is absolutely scattered.
I should say how many of our living were non-recoverable.
Let's see here. Another. Sorry, I'm having trouble moving the tokens. Definitely 1 or 2. Leaving you with 8 plus your commander out of your original 15.
Does myself or my mentor have more scrolls of raised dead, pretty much? Our necromancy.
Has 1 more.
I have 1 as well. I just realized. Scrolls of animate dead.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I'll begin the procedure, the process. Because it's effort, protocol.
And death we serve it still, says Brom. Do your work. He looks down, sort of casting a doubtful face at why do I keep forgetting her name? Art, the other Magi. From near, moves over toward Kennett, at a direction from Brom. Well, I suppose we better move out back into the green. See if the path back is clear. I don't want to see what Zim's about to do. I didn't like seeing it the first time.
I'm going to suggest that we rest here. We're surrounded by jungle, but we're in a clearing where we can see what's coming. So maybe we just rest here instead of going back. There's dangers on the way back. If we set something off, we might as well just stay here where at least it's clear for the moment.
Okay.
Don't hear any Lear yelling.
I
don't know.
Distantly, to the south, over another hill to the south, you hear a Lear warband sort of whooping and roaring as they step into battle. Another maybe mile and a half away to the west, you hear another band. You'll hear, it's sort of a call and return. They have their own sort of battle chant, and they're sort of miles out, and they'll begin psyching themselves up. So nothing close. Certain you have 15 minutes, barring anything slipping right out of the woods, hidden already in range. But you have you have enough defenders, enough sharp eyes. It seems reasonable to you. You all notice several of the soldiers, Hadreen and Ares and Bast among them, sort of falter when Kennett gives a different order. See Brom tense up. What the hell do you mean? Surrounded by this? We all just decided we were moving back to the sand. Explain. And as you already have, you can go ahead and make a persuasion check.
Could Crenshaw help with that? Maybe walking up to the commander saying, "Sir, the men are pretty hurt. It wouldn't hurt to just rest them for a couple minutes. Might make the trip back a little easier. You never know what you'll encounter in these jungles."
Absolutely.
So out of character.
Mm-hmm.
we're supposed to be going to the top of this hill or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Which is forward.
Mm-hmm. To the west. Yeah.
Okay. I really don't want to have to go back and then come through again.
Totally.
I just think that's a terrible idea.
Yeah, totally. Sounds painful to you. I get it. So yeah, Braum is just sort of, he's got an angry look of challenge on his face. Kenneth, you can roll another persuasion check to make that with advantage.
Persuasion, not my strong suit. 14 and a 5.
That's all right. As Braum looks over, that hardness sort of leaves his face a little bit. He nods. I see the right of it. Well, let's see to our wounded. We'll take a 15 minutes. And then I want scouts out. And we're pushing up that hill. Kenneth, since it's your idea, you are on rest watch. From there, takes a break. You circle the company.
Okay, and I'll come like back here, tell Thrumnir I need his help, and then he has an excuse not to watch the undead.
Fantastic. Awesome. Let's see if I can...
Crenshaw expended a hit die, and he'll go ahead and expend a hit die potion to get one of those back.
Nice. Okay.
Just to lock and load for next rest.
Oh, definitely.
During the rest, Crenshaw is gonna kind of make his way subtly over to Thrumnir.
Okay.
And he's gonna ask him. He's gonna say, "It's Soren Ho, right? Or Soren Joe?"
Yeah, Soren Joe is the company name. Oh yeah, Soren Who for the hunters, and Soren Moore for the fighters.
So, Crenshaw's gonna ask Soren, "Am I one of the am I a dead soldier? Am I one of the reanimated?"
As you approach from near, he's going over his kit and gear. He's sort of rebuckling, refastening, loosening things in the scabbard, checking over his wounds, binding some of his own wounds. He's got a bit of, he's got the rest of his bandage, like a wad of bandaging in his hand. He's got it hunched underneath his cloak, trying to keep it dry. And as you say that, he sort of throws it. It bounces off your chest. He reaches forward, catches it, says, "Nope. You look alive to me. Although I don't understand how that is. See, there's Elsendar, strange folk, magic at their fingertips. Who knows what they've been hiding from the rest of the folk all these years? Off in their towers and... Still, I'm glad she's on our side. You still look terrible, though." And, Crenshaw's gonna chuckle, but it dies off quick. And he's just battling internally, thinking like he's trying to figure out if he's one of the reanimated soldiers. Gotcha.
That's what he's been struggling with.
Okay.
He's like, because he didn't think he would have his mind because he in the back of his mind, he always knew that one day he'd be a reanimated soldier, but he didn't think he'd have his consciousness. So
Gotcha.
That's what's confusing him so much.
Okay, so Thumner's sort of looking up at you as you're asking him, talking with him. But he, with that same sort of wadding of bandages, he points over to some of the dead. He's saying, "I'd still say you look a damn sight better than they do. And, well, you're dumb as a post, but you're still smarter than they are. I think you're still alive. I'll let you know if I see parts start falling off of you, though."
Oh, please do, Soren. Thank you.
You'll be the second to know. I have to tell the rest. He's always got a good joke.
If I am dead, don't tell him or boss. They'd never let me hear the end of it.
True. They need something to banter about. Run out of fuel if they don't. I think it's the only
They just
thing that
talk
keeps
about
them-
women that don't exist.
all there. All there. Past to.
You want to have a
one
spare
place.
potion?
Yeah, what do you need? I've got one of these. It's just another hit die potion.
I like the thought of Zim like opening his coat like a shady salesman.
Hey,
Yeah.
can I buy a potion?
Saida clutches her ribs and says, "That's not exactly what I need. Save that for when any of us need it."
You can spend your hit dice on this short rest, of course, to heal, just like any other short rest. And then these potions will give you those hit die back. So it'll ultimately allow you to heal multiple hit die in a short rest by using the potion. It's my workaround for a world without healing magic, you know?
Okay.
There's no healing potions
Right.
in this
So
world.
I can roll.
at
I
this
can
time.
roll a d10.
Yeah.
If you actually look at your character sheet on the hit die, if you just click the word hit die, it'll roll it with any like modifiers that you're supposed to have on it. Because I think you add your constitution to it.
Nice,
Roll.
Yeah, dude.
Nice.
Right on.
man. She's badass.
Serious.
At
That's
the,
great, dude.
The mentions of potions, Crenshaw will take the opportunity to come up to Saida and offer a not his canteen, but like a metal, just a metal flask that is hidden just behind the canteen, and just asks, "Is this what you're looking for?"
She shrugs, and it's not a healing potion, right?
No, it
No.
is not.
Okay. She shrugs, and she's like, "It is now." And accepts the offer and takes a nice, healthy swig, but not obnoxious, and hands
It's
it back.
it's bad. It's bad swill. It's like when you take a shot of something that you drank too much of in college or in your younger days, and you're just like
no!
you just shudder and you have to like.
Can I do a Constitution save?
Depends on how much you drink. Do you take a long swallow or a polite sip?
I mean, I took a healthy swig,
I would say a
real
con
real
save.
heartily.
I would say a con
What was
save.
that?
I would definitely say a
Yeah.
con save for sure. It is some strong hooch. Well, it burns. It burns your lips. It burns your mouth. It burns your esophagus. It's burning your stomach. As you breathe in, it's definitely fiery. Makes your eyes want to water a little bit. You keep it down. It's definitely rot gut. And almost immediately, your sort of pains, your tensions a little bit reduced. You're not drunk, but you've definitely got a sudden light buzz.
She gets a +2 to charisma now, right? Is that how rot gut works? If you can keep it down, you get a boost to charisma.
I say charisma checks, but not charisma. She's as a paladin. No way.
I know. I was really going
I'm
for
a
it
team
there.
player. That's going in my notes. All right. So
She coughs a lot of bit as she swings that back, but thanks him anyways. Like, yeah, okay, it's a medicine. She's happy with it.
So, what was that back there? What'd you do back there? How'd you bring me back?
It's
Why am I not dead?
simple healing hands cantrip. That's all.
Healing hands. Look, I don't know much about magic, but I haven't heard any talk of the healing magic. That's something I remember from a young child, something that doesn't exist.
I'm from a very old family, so that would make sense. Although it surprises me, it's such an advantageous skill to have.
Is that it? She's like a character from a tale. Stories.
Well, Be careful who you let know that you have this particular skill. I don't know how many of the company saw. I assume everyone, but you might want to keep this one to yourself.
I appreciate that. I was unaware of this. Well, I trust you all with it, and let us not disregard a valuable asset to our cause.
Don't get me wrong. You brought me back from the brink. You've certainly earned a favor or two from me, I'd say.
I'll keep that in
Laughs
mind.
awkwardly.
Awesome.
Then he walks away awkward. Just like no real end to the conversation, just chuckles and kind of turns and walks away. Doesn't know what to do.
As part of the Kachina and kind of more focused in herbalism, does Zim know? Does Zim have any inkling around kind of like how impactful to the effort, what kind of something like that getting out would be? Just like if there's people who are, would kind of covet it.
Absolutely. Certainly it would be a massive morale boost for the effort, and it would be a thing that like the callers and runners that go out to find other fleets and share the news would be telling. Like not only was land found, but healing magic is true and real, and we have a healer. There would definitely, you can also make a further insight to see what more information, but you definitely detect there would be disagreements on how best to handle such a member of the Kachina. And as far as you're concerned, it could go any number of ways. You could easily see such a person being sequestered away, kept in a sort of ivory tower to heal important people. Someone who was put in classes to hopefully try to teach, but also perhaps to be sort of studied. And based on what you've already learned of some of the advances happening within the city of Evisar, some of the experimentation that they might do could be pretty painful and torturous.
Yeah, Zim's just kind of frowns, scratches his ears, makes some noise, and goes, "We should probably go for that hill, yes? That's where they want us." He inspects the newly risen...
Oh, I think I lost your voice for a second.
I just said he inspects the newly risen.
Oh, gotcha, yeah.
Making sure he's done this correctly. First time and all.
Yeah, as you sort of array them out, you finish anointing their feet, hands, and brow. And you finish the rite, the strange shifting of light and shadow. You watch the skin, the flesh, and hair turn to powder. They rise as you touch the amulet and make the mental command. They move as you direct them.
Yeah, this is strange.
So that's fine.
Arrest just, bah! This woman gets the joke. Arrest just rolls his eyes.
I don't understand. I just don't understand. But I believe you.
Look, it's not that it's fine. It's necessary, they say.
But that's how I feel. Never mind.
Look, I'm just worried. They're going to take you away from us. They're going to want to poke you and prod you and figure out how you work. And I said too much. I wanted you away.
Yeah, this gets
Under
Brahm's
legs.
attention.
Everyone keeps leaving her awkwardly. I love this.
Saida nods, thinking he definitely said too much.
At this seems to get Brahm's attention too. He steps over a few steps and sort of, a mix of concern, curiosity, and relief, I think, on his face when he looks over at you, based on your capabilities. He looks at you for a long moment and says, "Well, if the higher-ups want to give you any trouble, I'll be in your corner. The abilities such as yours, we need them out here. You're exactly where you need to be, Saida. I'll do my best to keep you here, if this is where you want to be."
For now, it's where I must be.
Well, I'll appreciate it as long as you are, as long as you're here in my company. But if everyone's feeling better, we're all finished with our work. Zim, taking over the duties of your mentor.
Yes, sir.
Very good. Sort of squints his eyes, looks up into the rain again. Right. And we've got a job to do then. To the hill. I think this might be a good spot to stop our session, as you all begin to weave your way forward toward the end of this narrow, long strip of clearing. You've packed out many samples from your enemies, from the land around you. You're rested. Most of the soldiers most of you all have bandages somewhere around your head, your ribs. Several of your companions are still fixing back their breastplates on over swaddled bandages and bloodied rag as you all begin to move through the increasingly heavier and heavier rain. Your visibility sort of dropping down as you begin to slope upward. At this point, Brahm gestures again, sending Thrumnir out to the sort of left and southern flank, and sending Kennett forward and up the hill to begin scouting a path through the rough terrain. And we'll continue next week, starting off here. How's that sound to everybody?
Sounds good to me.
Heck yeah.
I finally changed Saida's token.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, she's a badass.
Nice. Let's see if we can... bring us back over to gameplay maps. Where's she at? Alright. This will take me a second to zoom in, find all this stuff. Let's actually get an idea of what some of our tokens look like here.
Yeah, it'd be fun to look at them up close.
Yeah, I'm trying to here. I'm cooperative.
I think if you open our character sheets, bio and info,
Yeah, they get real
get a
big.
good look as well.
Yeah, totally. Just trying to bring him up on the... Yeah.
If you click show to players, it comes up in a big square, or like it emphasizes it.
All right, there we have her. There we have our image of Saida and Crenshaw. Zoom in a little more. Crenshaw's on just a half form, so we're going to zoom in so you can get a little bit more detail. Yeah, these be a little bit easier to share that way, but I figured I would just tinker around with OBS real quick while we, I don't know, sort of chit-chat and wrap up. And how was the session for everybody? How did that work out? Yeah, how's everybody feeling? Any pros, cons? How about you, Big Bri?
That was good. So I was definitely glad to be brought back from the dead. So, I'll play a character all the way to the final death saving throw. So I was going to ride it all the way out. But, I thought some really solid combat right up front. And then I thought that, just as a group, we did an excellent job of role-playing the healing magic thing.
Agreed. that felt good. Heck yeah. How about you, Darth Loquitur? How was your session? Any pros, cons for you?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to sound hypercritical, but I have kind of some feedback if we're going to do streaming.
Definitely. Notepad ready.
The combat turns need to be a little faster paced.
Okay.
In the second half of the combat, I think we did pretty good. In the first half of the combat, for whatever reason, it was taking a long time for everybody's turn every time. And I think also it's good if we read out our dice rolls. Just from my channel, I know that quite a few of my viewers listen, don't necessarily watch. They just kind of put the stuff on as a podcast if they're watching it later.
Gotcha.
So they won't see the rolls. So like I was reading out, I got a roll with advantage. Okay, I got a 14 and a 4. And then if somebody's just listening to it, they don't have to wonder what was rolled or why we're doing what we're doing. Again, it's
gotcha. No, it's great.
Little stuff, just ideas.
I wrote that down. That's a good one.
Yeah, this is all great.
Yeah, I like that as well. I mean, and that, just to chime in, I'm sorry if I talked over anyone. But yeah, I like that as well. And I do need to be more conscious of saying, like, this enemy here, saying more descriptive of, like, the enemy to my left or something like that. Just, I guess being more descriptive about who I'm attacking, where, and trying to paint that picture for the listener as well.
Awesome.
I love that.
I'm also going to number the tokens going forward, so it'll be easier to refer to which enemy you're attacking.
That'll help track them all as well. Like, I know from DMing, you sometimes lose track of which one you're damaging and, all that.
Yeah, it was a little hard because, Roll20 wasn't letting me... It was really... That was part of why combat was slow. It was on my end anyway. It was, Roll20 was being a little slow for me to update hit points or things like that, so... Yeah, I switched over to doing it on paper. It was a little faster.
It'll be interesting to see how the your new equipment impacts the speed of, like, being able to update things.
Yeah, for sure.
So I wonder the effects on the map are really, really cool. I wonder if that's having a major impact on how fast Roll20 works for you.
I'm sure it is, for sure.
I mean, they're very awesome to look at, though. Like, the blue flashing lights and the rain sets the tone and the ambiance.
Yeah, I don't want to sacrifice it, for sure. I want to keep it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's something that I like to do, and that I think is something really good that I bring to the table with my GMing, is I try to do good evocative maps and stuff like that. So, yeah. Okay, yeah. Stepping back to Darth Loquitur for a moment. Yeah, man. Criticism's important. Like, we definitely need it, so I appreciate all that. Is there anything else that you had on your list that you can think of?
No, I think as far as people moving around their tokens and rolling in the game and stuff like that, that's all going smooth. I think role play aspects of it are nice. Saida's, I like the way you keep describing, like, the little stuff for her. Even like some of the stuff you were typing, like just about how, like, her muscles are just, like, glistening in the rain. I love stuff like that. I mean, yeah, don't type that stuff. Say it out loud.
Please.
Because I think it adds a lot. Just, like, randomly in the middle of combat, you look over and here's this, very imposing fighter that just, like, potentially intimidating the opponents or making you think, man, that's something, right?
Yeah.
I love your descriptions. I think that's fantastic, and I love Crenshaw being the grumpy, sticking to that kind of grumpy no matter what happens. I mean, it's fantastic. You guys are doing great. So I love that stuff. I keep cheering for you over here. I can't help it. Like I think I'm gonna do this, and I'm like, yes, that's awesome.
Yeah, I saw you pump both your hands when she, like, stabbed the creature from above. Like, yeah, that's awesome. Heck yeah. Well, that's fantastic feedback. How about you? Let's see here. Evelyn, how about you? Did I get you? Did you already have some
No, I've just chimed in a couple times.
That's fine, yeah. In an official capacity. Thoughts on the session?
I really loved the feedback about notations, about, for the sake of the stream, because I would enjoy, like, just listening to it while I'm at work. I can't watch it, right? But I can have a better idea. So I'm going to try to keep those things in mind, see what that all extends to. Just makes you better at describing things in general, which I think is better for a better D&D game anyway. So, so I really like that. I think that our role-playing chemistry is really surprising me. I've only been, in a few campaigns, and one for over a year now, but nevertheless, it still feels relatively new. And so for things to sync up with only in the first few sessions, I'm like, wow, this world is so alive already. And I'm in it. I'm definitely in it. This is probably I've never fallen in love with a character so quick. She can't die now.
Uh-oh.
And she does. It's gonna be beautiful. I will.
I know it.
I'll let that go.
That happens to me immediately with every character I built. I mean, even from our first session, level 0, like I rode Crenshaw to the last possible death save because I was like, I don't know. You write a small paragraph of a backstory for a character, and you're like, it's perfect. I love him.
Yeah.
And you're just like, he can't die now. He just started. So I definitely do the same thing.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that's great feedback. How about you, Joe?
I really enjoyed it. The combat went a decent speed after we got up and running. I thought it went pretty well, compared to kind of the start of last combat. We had a lot more, I think, planned out moves. At least it felt like on the player side. And then just the whole healing scene. I wasn't sure how that was going to play out at all. Because as some of you all may know, Brian and I play this exact campaign with DMFaenor on Thursday nights, and we know a few things coming up, but we're not playing this whole campaign. And I just wasn't sure how our party was going to handle it, and I'm enjoying it. I really enjoyed the role play there, and just kind of the awe of it all.
Awesome. Yeah, I feel like word of y'all's company is going to spread pretty quickly. Which that's
every time
development. Yeah. Well, heck yeah.
I remember the first time Aidman cast a healing spell in our campaign that we play, and I basically I asked or almost begged the other player characters, like, hey, don't tell anyone about this.
Don't tell on me.
just don't mention it.
Yeah. Keep it secret. Keep it safe.
Yeah, exactly. Very much so.
Well, heck yeah. Thanks for that feedback, Joe. For my part, I feel like a lot of things were a lot smoother. For some reason, my computer was a little bit iffy on that. Technical stuff, definitely getting smoother. I like we're gelling a little bit more, and definitely things are getting smoother. Our role play with each other is getting, we're reacting more and more quickly, more comfortably with each other, which I think is all, great stuff for a game, and especially if other people are going to watch it and be entertained. I really appreciated the criticism and feedback there, and generally I just appreciate everyone's role play, and you're thinking within the situation and stuff like that. But most of all, I appreciate y'all's efforts and y'all's time and y'all's attention, and us all being able to sort of come together and create this thing that's really fun for us, and hopefully it's fun for our friends over here out there on Twitch watching. And so that's me. That's what I had to say for the night. As we go forward at the end of our sessions, when they get official, we will have a storm of links and plugs to share with our Twitch audience, because everybody on the channel is doing something, backing something, fascinated by something, and we want to share that stuff with our audience. It's part of why we want to get together and do a streaming game, because we're inspired by this, we like this stuff, and we want to share it with anybody who's interested. So thanks for joining us, everybody. Thanks a lot to my awesome players for making an awesome night. We'll see you all next week. Thank you again. Take care of yourselves. Drink some freaking water. Good night, everybody. Say good night, friends.
Bye.